Welcome back to episode 270 of the Bad Taste Video Podcast. I'm Mike. I'm here with my hay-filled homeboy, Mr. Grizz. I had to bring him back just for this episode.
Call me hay-filled?
Hayfield. Hay-filled. You got me all fucking bumbling my words right now.
Stuff.
Yeah, well, we're on a different night this week. Wednesday night, recording live. Had an emergency yesterday. Everything is stabilized at the moment.
Yes.
You know, it is what it is.
Appreciate everybody reaching out as well. I got a bunch of messages about it.
Yeah, my Daisy girl. She appreciates it. She is something else. You've met her before. She is me in dog form. Quite.
Yo, dude, that's ridiculous. That's my. It's so fucking true.
It's my spirit animal, soulmates.
If I could wrap you in a blanket, it would look identical.
Yeah. I have an elder, paralyzed French bulldog that literally does not give a fuck. She will.
Does not.
Yeah. She does not. I'm 6'1", 230 pounds or whatever. She don't give a fuck. She's like, I'm coming after you.
She looked at me day one. It was like, this motherfucker.
Fuck you.
Like,
who are you?
Dude.
Yeah. But we're here to cover a movie that is pretty fucking awesome. We're getting into that fall season. Not quite Halloween yet, so we're doing one of those things. We're gearing up. Yeah, we're gearing up for it. But with that, let's hit the intro and get into this week's movie. Scarecrows from 1988. Yeah, dude, the soundtrack, like the score to this movie is actually creepy as fuck. Like it fits the movie pretty well. You know,
it's a cool tuba effect that they keep using. It's like that is the scariest fucking tuba I have ever heard in my life.
That is extremely unsettling. I like that you kept some of the credits in there. William Wesley, right? So I never really looked into this dude. I was like, all right, let me check out his Let me check out his IMDb. He did an episode of Monsters in 1991. If you've ever seen that show, it's like a horror creature feature, monster of the week type thing. I enjoy it. There's some good episodes on there. There's a few fucking really good ones. But in 2001, he directed Route 666, starring Lou Diamond Phillips, a movie that I used to watch on the Sci-Fi Channel all the time.
Really?
I fucking love that movie. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen it?
I remember watching clips of it on the fucking Sci-Fi Channel and immediately being like, this is why I fucking hate the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm fucking out of here, dude.
Can you give me a synopsis of that movie? Do you even remember like what it's about?
I remember fucking Lou being in it. I couldn't tell you like from what wasn't it like a vigilante kind of fucking situation?
Well, like he's a cop. And he's like, they're like trapped on Route 666. And like, it's haunted by these dudes that were on the chain gang. And it turns out one of Lou Diamond Phillips, not one of, his father was one of the zombie ghost things that are killing people on there. But it's a pretty cool movie. I like it.
Is this something you're going to make me watch?
Fuck yeah, dude.
You're trying to tell me this is coming down the pipeline? Like,
I own a copy. We will end up watching that. Yeah. That's more of a
copy? Is it a tape?
Yeah, there's a tape of it. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
But that's a movie that we'll probably do more towards the summer season. That's like a hot weather movie. It's one of those things where, just like this week, you watch it and you're thinking like, oh shit, this is like a fall movie for sure.
It's perfect.
That one is like a scorcher. That's like, it's all hot. It has to do with fucking asphalt and all that stuff. Fuck that shit. Hard labor. Fuck that, right, man? But this week we're talking about
what the fuck you talking about?
hard labor. Yeah, okay, working hard or hardly working. That's fucking
both,
that's fucking you. But Grit, this movie Scarecrows. Not many Scarecrow movies that you could think of before this. Plenty after. Of course, you have Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, that made for TV movie. We covered it before. Absolute classic.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a classic movie. Classic movie. Great VHS release too. That's a movie that's enhanced by watching it on tape. But then you have this movie, which is probably the most memorable for me when it comes to horror movies of my youth, things that I used to see in the video store, and that's because of the cover of this VHS tape, which for some reason I do not own. I have no idea why the fuck I don't own this, but yeah. But this cover is iconic.
I'll agree with you. It's super iconic. And however, I remember watching this. I think it had to be, high school, maybe if not shortly after, getting it from the video store solely based on the cover, watching it and being like, this is okay. This is like, it was fun enough or whatever. And then we rewatched it this week, and I'm like, I don't remember this being as fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
And then I come to realize that I more than likely had rented the rated R version back in the day. I doubted my video store had the unrated.
I don't know
tape.
if there ever was an unrated tape.
I think that there was I don't know if it was maybe distributed, or you're saying like it was just never actually made.
I think they only put out the R-rated one, and I think the unrated was when they did the later releases.
All right, because disc copies. I definitely, when I watched this week, I was like, holy fuck, this movie kicks ass, and it did not resonate with me in the same way on the first watch when I was
this definitely has more footage. There's more gore sequences. There's a lot more blood and all shit. Yeah. It's 100% a better version of the movie. And this movie was like fucking cobbled together. It has a very interesting, I guess, story of how it became a film. Yeah, like, you got people funding the movie that want to also be in the movie along with their dog. And
Ted Vernon, dude, that dude's a fucking lunatic. And like his story and everything about that guy is just, it's fucking insanity. Like that dude's a million miles an hour for sure.
Yeah, car dealer turned movie producer. He's the guy you're gonna see in these clips that's like a bald dude with a cigar and everything. Cool character. Like his character. I think he plays it well. But it's interesting that they kind of like, they shot this movie. Then once like they edited it together, you get those like first cuts of the film. He's watching it and he's like, fuck, man. There's too much. There's too much nothing in this movie. There's no dialogue in these scenes for long periods of time, and there's all sorts of shit. So they ended up adding all this dialogue, and they use like intercoms. Like they're wearing a headset because it's like this fucking like military team. They're wearing these headsets, so they're adding dialogue, and through that they're adding dialogue as though I guess like the Scarecrows can also speak and stuff, like they can mimic. I don't know if that was originally part of the film. I feel like they added that in after because it's not really something like I would think of a Scarecrow having the ability to do. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's set it up a little bit here. What's happening in this movie, if you haven't seen it, is basically there is a huge robbery of like $3 million. This heist is happening from this like elite team of robber.
They robbed Camp. What is it? Pendleton?
Yeah.
It's like a military base.
Right?
Ballsy.
So they're pretty badass fucking dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, legit.
And they're fucking kidnap these fucking people in a plane, and they take off. And this motherfucker, dude, loose lip sync shifts, boom, he's fucking taking off with the money, jumps off the plane,
traitor,
fucking traitor.
Yeah.
And they basically end up chasing this guy down to this remote location in the middle of these like cornfields and shit with all of these scarecrows. And that's where like this whole movie basically unfolds, and it's a mind fuck, dude. Like what's actually happening, what's not happening, like what are the abilities of these scarecrows, like
Pretty much unlimited abilities. They pretty much do whatever they want at any time.
Yeah.
They can mimic you. They can kind of just appear out of nowhere. Super strong. Pretty much the ultimate killing machine.
How do you feel about like this setup for a horror movie, dude?
Awesome. This is fucking awesome.
This action movie esque type of like build up to the beginning. Like it doesn't feel like a horror movie at all when this kicks off. It's very, like, oh shit, there's a fucking heist happening. There's a plane robbery. Like this whole thing is like very much, setting me forward for this, like, international arms fucking thing going on.
Yeah.
But it slowly turns, and I actually like the slow progression of it because we don't even get like a scarecrow kill or anything happening in
for a while
until about 20-25 minutes out of an hour and 20 movie. It's a good portion of it. But it does a good job, like, kind of catching my interest without it being this, like, haunted, fucking weird, fucking, type of thing that I'm expecting. It's very out of left field for, like, normal horror movies.
I
think that's in a good way,
Yeah. I agree. I love the setup of this movie. I love the whole military aspect where these aren't just, like, asshole bank robbers. These are, like, supposedly, like, elite forces. You know what I mean? That carried out this robbery. They're parachuting out of the fucking airplane and all that stuff. They got night vision goggles. They got automatic weapons that are actually made out of wood, apparently.
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah. I think the setup is great. The whole first like half hour or so is like pretty much just building up to the horror aspect of the film. That first half hour is them kind of just setting up how these people got to this house slash it's not really like a cornfield, right? Like it's kind of
it's a farm, but it's
like a farm area. Yeah, it's supposed to be California. It's not. It's actually in Florida, but whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. It's cool, but the one thing that I wish that they had was a backstory to the Fowler family. The three dudes that they show a picture of on the wall, the three scarecrows. Like, how did they end up being these scarecrows? How did they end up getting this job where they now have to kill all these people and they become scarecrows also? Because they like kind of bring it up in the movie like, oh, this is hell or something like that. But if that was the case though, the woman Kelly, the girl that's the co-pilot or the daughter of the pilot, she wouldn't have made it to safety. That wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean?
I didn't like. They do allude at one point that like it's a potential that like they didn't survive the robbery and like the situation they end up in is like.
But that makes no sense.
Stuff. I don't buy into that too. I think that's like the commentary of a person going mad in the situation.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely more based in the reality of like this
haunted house, a haunted area,
haunted fucking hayfield. But yeah, you're right. I wish because they end up at this farm like we're saying, and we get. The gravestones of the Fowler family and shit like that. And we see all these things, but it doesn't tell us like, why are they now like trapped on this land?
What
like,
did they do?
Not even what did they do, but like, what is this land? Like, why does is the land fucking like
Indian burial ground?
I mean, 100%. Right. So I wish there was like it would be a cool, like almost, prequel they could make to this of like how they became the scarecrows, because I think it's a great concept, especially once you realize that everyone they're killing is becoming scarecrows also, because all you see is hundreds of scarecrows throughout this place throughout the whole film. So then you realize they've been fucking killing tons of people, and these are just all previous unfortunate people that like wander around this farm.
When the first
really dude good shit, man.
When the first dude who like betrayed them and jumps with the money, he finds this house, he goes in, there's like bullets on the floor and shit. You know what I mean? Like somebody was there already. So like that immediately is like, well, this isn't like something new. You know what I mean? And is this considered like a cabin in the woods type movie?
It has the same vibe. I mean, it's not really a cabin-ish.
Well, you know what I mean? Like the house in the woods or whatever.
Creepy house. I mean, it has all the elements of a movie like that. Would fit the bill, dude. Just because it has like some, action movie fucking things going on. I think it doesn't take away from the fact that ultimately this 100% fits that cabin in the woods fucking genre.
Yeah. One thing that I wish they explored more was the aspect of walking out on foot. Like, where does it end? You know what I mean? Like, because she flies, you know, we'll get into it later, but they eventually fly out of this place. Is it possible to get out on foot? You know what I mean? That's something
that's what I'm saying. Like, what's up with this land? Is it the land that like, you know, like an Evil Dead situation where you're trapped into this fucking like, you know, this bubble of like this enchanted area or some shit? Or is it like you get out of there, you just have to fucking get away from this fucking farm and you're good to go? But what you just mentioned a little while ago that I think is important is that the first cut of this movie had none of this like radio dialogue going on. And in our first kill, where this traitor that we're talking about, he finally like meets his maker because these guys are hunting him down. And it's not who I think is going to kill this dude, because I think these guys who are after him to get their money back is going to fucking pop this guy. And this is where we first get our like glimpse of these scarecrows, dude. But I can't imagine this scene without that like radio dialogue, because there's like this buildup of them talking shit to him over this radio, like, "Hey motherfucker, we're coming to get you."
Yeah, like, and also like,
so good.
This is one of those things where like I didn't remember it looking like this when you know what I mean? Like, because they use a saw on this dude, like it's pretty fucked up, and he gets almost like a Prowler-esque kill in this sequence also, right? Like it's a brutal stabbing.
It's good, man. It's just like that, a culmination of that whole scene that happens, man.
This is actually pretty wild.
Damn it, Curry, where are you guys?
So they're looking for this dude.
Oh no, this is actually the other guy's kill.
Oh,
this is way later.
This is Jack.
Movie.
Oh no, I played the wrong one. So
100%.
This is
a great kill too.
Yeah. So this is Jack, one of the dudes that you're going to see throughout the movie. He ends up getting his hand cut off, and he gets stabbed in the face brutally. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing. I'm actually glad that I played that, because it brings another piece of lore to this fucking thing. They remove his hand because the Scarecrow was missing a hand. So they're like replacing parts of themselves like the fucking creeper.
Yeah, I thought that was weird though.
You didn't like that?
It doesn't really like fit into like this, like it's never explained. Like I said, like if there was more backstory to like the fucking family and like why they're the way they are and shit, yeah, maybe. But like, what? Okay, so they get all their parts back. What the fuck happens then? You know, like it doesn't add anything to the story. It doesn't take away anything from the story. It just exists inside of it for some reason.
I kind of like that though, because it adds like a little bit of like fucking brutality to it, where it's like, you better hope this dude ain't cutting your leg off or something. Like it's not like they do it after you're dead.
I will say this. It doesn't, that happens so much later in this movie. Like so much happens before this with other people who have been attacked by these things that don't lose those limbs. So it's like, why the fuck did they wait to take this guy's hand?
Yeah, he's the same size.
Another motherfucker's hand, dude.
They want somebody.
That whole thing doesn't make sense.
They're like, oh, this guy's got a strong. He's got a strong hand.
Yeah, that dude over, he's got the fucking strong.
Yeah. So here's where our traitor gets killed. I have the clip here. I found it. This is another pretty brutal thing to happen.
You want the money?
So he's eventually giving up. He's so scared of what's going on. He's just like, fuck it. And he gets stabbed in the gut. And they literally like bring the knife up, I guess, to like his chest. Right? Because you see later, you know, what's going on. That's... Those are the Scarecrows talking.
Dude, that over the radio shit is so good.
Scary.
I can't imagine this movie without it.
It's fucking scary, dude. Fucking words of wisdom from a dying man.
And so, like, that's the traitor dude that we're talking about, who's fucking, you know, he met his maker not by who we thought he was going to, but by these fucking scarecrows. So the people who are hunting him, his fellow, you know, thieves who he's betrayed, don't know that this dude's fucking dead.
Yeah.
They just know that he's still fucking out there, and they need to get this money back before the fucking military finds them.
Oh, dude. That actually leads me to something. There's some comedy in this also. They find
it lays into it.
they find like a sack, I guess, in a tree, and they're like, "Fuck, it's like one of the money bags, right?" And they try to get it down to some comedic results, I guess you could say.
It's the dude's parachute. They're like, "There's his parachute." He's like, "Let's fucking get into it and see if there's like money or he's in the fucking parachute or whatever."
There was something in there that they were like, we have to open it. Let's roll that one because it's actually pretty funny.
Cut it. For Christ's sake, just cut it, will ya? Come on, pennies from heaven.
Pennies from heaven. It's like the rucksack. There's something in it, and it's just guts. And that's actually his guts, right?
Oh, this dialogue.
He gets covered in this shit, like he gets gacked or whatever the hell. What'd they call that? Slimed. And
I guess it's like there's like elbow dog food and some other shit that they use to like fucking make that like mixture of shit.
Dude, imagine.
So nasty.
Imagine being in like the hot, humid ass fucking Florida swamp, just covered in that shit.
Oh, and dude, and like they mentioned that like filming it was a fucking nightmare because it is like literally next to a Florida swamp.
Yeah, no shit. It's 80s Florida, bro.
And like the mosquitoes were like eating people alive to the point where people were going to the hospital.
Malaria, like
bites that
symptoms.
they were fucking getting and shit. Dude, I can't imagine then like covering myself in dog food
and all like
attacked instantly.
Fuck that, man.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's like caro syrup and all that shit. You could just get swarmed. Oh, fucking disgusting. But that's like a really funny moment in the movie. It kind of breaks like the seriousness because they're taunting this guy throughout the whole thing. Like, we're gonna fucking kill you, man. We're gonna burn you alive like you burned us and all that shit.
It also like makes you start wondering. You're like, all right, well, I definitely know that guy died, but like, where's his body? These are just guts and fucking fluid and shit. So you're like, man, what the fuck is going on here? And then all of a sudden, this traitor, shows up at this fucking central house that they're all kind of like using as like a home base.
He's found.
And
yeah,
dude, when they beat the shit out of this dead guy, because like we know that he's dead, but they don't.
Yeah,
they're like, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" Right? And they're fucking giving him the business and shit, dude. There's something about this scene of just like them beating this man mercilessly, and he's just like completely oblivious to it. That I absolutely love.
They think he's also faking being like knocked out. He's faking being dead, bro.
Something happened to you or something out in the fucking jungle and shit. Like being like traumatized or something.
Yeah, and that's also like there's more. It's more ADR. Where like it kind of looks like the dude's imagining it, you know what I mean? Like where it's like being like broadcasted into his brain. But I'm assuming that's actually what the other team members are saying at this point. But this is pretty cool because you see like this is like a pretty twisted way to just a pretty twisted scene in general, right?
It's heavy, dude, for sure.
They're beating the fuck out of this guy. Kind of looks like me.
Fuck him up. Come on. Dude, that guy is my favorite.
Yeah. So this dude is like, he's conscious and everything, right? Well, eventually he's conscious.
His fucking stomach punches. It goes on for like quite a while of them just beating the shit out of him.
Yeah. And eventually this motherfucker like wakes up. And he's filled with hay, straw, whatever, and fucking the money.
He's filled with money, yeah, dude. Like that was such a cool concept that these like fucking scarecrows were stuffing him with like the money that he stole, and that's what these people are hunting. They're looking for this money, and they're sitting there pulling like the $100, like the $100.
We actually have
out of the fucking dead guy and shit. That was
we have a clip of when this dude just like freaks out. The only way to get this guy to go down is to fucking decapitate him, and it's a pretty cool fucking sequence. It's a good decapitation. They're fucking shooting the shit out of him. Keeps coming. It's almost like it's more zombie-like, these people, than like Scarecrow.
Yeah, people that have died for sure.
Yeah, they're almost like familiars, like a vampire's familiars. These are like Scarecrow familiars. This motherfucker chops his head off. Chops his
He's not-
fucking hand
Takes the
off.
hand.
What the hell was he on?
Just for good measure.
Yeah, they think he's on fucking drugs, but they flip him over and they start pulling money out of his chest cavity. But the stupid woman is like, oh, he ate the money. It's like, no, he has no intestines. Like he's
sewn the fuck open and like cut and like sewn back together. You think he ate that shit?
dude, it's like such a stupid conclusion to come to. Like it's so obvious that that's not the case. You know what I mean? That it's actually something else going on, because they're like questioning what kind of drugs was he on. It's like, bro, he's not on drugs. He's filled with fucking
Dead.
straw and money. He's dead. Like something else is going on. Oh, and the fact that he looks like a fucking zombie also. Like his face is like a grayish color. He's got like reddish eyes, you know? Like he looks undead.
And we start seeing that there's like, you know, besides the fact that there's like a zombie type element going on here, we also see there's like a weird paranormal aspect to all of this as well, because like doors are closing and locking on their own and shit like that in the middle of the mayhem.
These scarecrows have like complete control over their realm. You know what I mean? Like,
and I love that element of it. It makes
almost,
anything possible, you know?
It's almost,
so it really does heighten the fear.
It's almost like Blair Witch, like, you know what I mean? Like where there's no escape. You're in this thing. They're altering the terrain. They're doing whatever, because you never do see like them get to, you know, an exit on foot or in car. The car fucking breaks down and there's no engine in it when he looks.
Which is
like,
great.
Like that's a fucking.
He's like, how the fuck, dude? I was like, yeah, that's cool as fuck. Man.
At that point, I would be like, I'm dead. This is it. There's no way I'm escaping this.
You know, and like, you know, not to jump ahead or whatever like that, but there is like what we just said, how like this car and stuff like that can only go so far. Like at the end of all this mayhem, you'll see that like all of these things like settle back into place, like where they were before it all happened.
It like resets. Yeah. Waiting for the next
beautiful fucking
person. Yeah, the next victim. There's a pretty cool scene in this movie. They use a lot of night vision, I guess you could say. There's a pretty cool scene where you get like a direct view of the Scarecrow. It's pretty funny though, because you could tell like it was like a very small clip of a Scarecrow going like, whoa, like jumping out. But
this looks like Sega Genesis, dude.
Yeah.
Like this looks like a Sega Saturn fucking like cut scenery at the arcade when you're playing those like shooting games with like zombies
for sure.
and shit.
Yeah, this is like a Resident Evil fucking cutscene.
Yeah.
Come on down here, will ya?
So he's trying to like, you know, survey the area with the night vision scope.
Where? At least one of them.
Where is it, Jack?
It's by these three big crosses.
Yeah, that's not ominous.
There's no scarecrows on.
They're made out of metal also. He's looking through his wood gun. There it is. It looks like a pineapple. Right?
Come on, get down.
But like that, at that point, they now know that there's something going on.
I saw Scarecrow.
Right?
That's the first glimpse they got of the actual Scarecrow come to life, because up until this point they just know this motherfucker came back and there's something real fucking weird going on with him. So
but
he's
I
dead
just
and he's full of money, so
I just found that scene so fucking funny. For whatever reason, like that
cracks me up.
that like view of the Scarecrow like whoa, jumping into frame is just chef's kiss. I love it.
And it's a great thing too, because like it does set up this thing where like this is the only guy that has seen this, you know, and
he's a little weird
gives the other
too.
people an opportunity to be like, you're fucking crazy. This is not. You're imagining this crazy bullshit. No, there's not a Scarecrow out there, you know. And I love movies like that where it's like there's some like denying going on of like what one person can like really feel is true. So it like kind of sets up this like, I don't know, this like this internal battle between like the people who are still left to like live and shit, man. Man, this movie has no business, I think, being as good as it is. When you hear about the mayhem it took to make it, to have it come together this way, I thought is pretty incredible. This has such rewatchability to me.
And what's weird to me is like it's a 1988 film, but it feels like an early 90s movie, like almost like Jason Goes to Hell era. Like it has like a similar film quality. This is definitely probably one like of like the graphic Scarecrow movies. I feel like this is definitely number one, and the unrated version, it makes it like that much better. You know what I mean? It's like like an increase of 50% to the overall likability of the film. And it's only,
Plus-
you're only seeing a little bit more, but it makes it more like, I don't know, like, I'm not going to say scary, but, it gives it like a little bit extra where it makes it that, like I guess real? Well, I don't know.
Because I'm telling you, like when I first saw this movie when I was younger, it had zero impact on me. I would tell you there was no rewatchability to it. Where I feel like this has such rewatchability. Like I will probably, watch this again before fucking Halloween.
Of course.
Just like seeing it again and being like, God damn, like this really does like hit all the fucking notes of like the horror movies that I like. But not only that, just an original great like
good idea.
Scarecrows are fucking spooky, dude. Like.
Yeah.
And I can't think of other ones that like really nail it as well as this one does. The ones in the 90s and stuff are like almost a little try hard in comparison to how well this like dials in just like a unique story along with Scarecrows.
Yeah, we're gonna be covering another Scarecrow movie for our October Halloween celebration. We'll compare it. Try to guess which one we're gonna do. It's shot on video, low budget, fucking crazy bullshit.
This is one that I have not seen, so it'll be interesting to see how it stacks up for me because I kind of have like this is the standard for me when it comes to like Scarecrow movies.
Yeah. What do you think about this compared to Dark Knight of the Scarecrow? I can never say that. It's like a tongue twister for me.
I do have such a love and an affinity for that movie, but it has its own vibe and its own like. This is such a different thing than that movie,
Yeah.
Even like the overall villain, I can't even call that guy like a real true villain in Dark Knight. It's such like he's almost a lovable character at times.
It is.
Or whatever.
Yeah, you're rooting for him.
Yeah, 100%. So like it is like a total like that's like of Mice and Men version of Scarecrow
that's
movies
like a classic.
compared to like
it doesn't count.
Yeah. Like this is just a true like mean-spirited horror movie where that's like almost telling this like true story through like a horror like television movie.
Kiryu Gore, Dark Harvest. Nope, not it. Try again.
That was a good guess.
Yeah. But this movie, it like throughout just keeps going. Everybody meets like a fucking terrible end, right? Like it's super mean-spirited. Another fucked up kill is when you don't really even see it happen when the girl finds her dad.
Yeah. She like runs away from the house thinking she's going to like get away from these fucking like bandits on her own and she's going to get out of this fucked up place. And like we hear like the voice of her father, calling her, but you're like, "Oh shit, her dad's fucking trying to get her and shit." And we start to realize that like these Scarecrows have, some pretty wild capabilities.
More than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Help me!
Help me!
She runs into one, which is pretty scary.
Where'd Daddy go?
She finds him. He's tied, basically crucified to this fucking thing with barbed wire. Yeah, it's like and his chest is fucking completely cut open. That's a brutal thing. Yeah. And just like the subtle like cut to the fucking Scarecrow, just like staring. Doesn't move. It's just staring.
Yeah. You know what I do love though? We get a lot of like these shots of a Scarecrow on the fucking being hung up there and shit. But when they do these close-ups, you see the Scarecrow breathing. So you're like, okay, that motherfucker is definitely not just a Scarecrow. Like, I don't know, like that has to be like on purpose. Otherwise, they would just use a normal fucking Scarecrow.
Use a mannequin head or something. Like they wouldn't waste their time.
So it's like, dude, that motherfucker is alive. And I love like getting that like little glimpse that you gotta kind of have to pay attention to kind of pick up on. Those are fun parts of movies.
And you never quite know when they're gonna like activate. You know what I mean? Like they may let you just run into them. They may let you run by them, or they just fucking grab you, and that's it.
Well, that's part of that scene too that I'm talking about, where like you see him breathing. I'm constantly anticipating like, all right, is this where he's gonna jump off in front of me and shit like that? Like, is this something?
No, he knew.
Because like
he knew the other military guy was there and would just blow him away. So he's like, nope.
So good.
I'm gonna wait for another time.
They're very tactical Scarecrows.
Yeah.
Say that.
They're evenly matched. One thing I do like is like, they have a lot of abilities, but they're not like you could kill them. Like you can kill them. Or at least incapacitate them enough where like they're just gonna kind of be like useless.
Dude,
So
speaking of like the dialogue in this movie, there's a scene where it's just he's like the guy's like talking about like, you know, you better have like certain ammunition and shit like that. And it's such like it's a quick little like throwaway fucking line, and I'm obsessed with it in this movie. I can't even remember if I fucking like pulled a clip for it or not.
I don't think you did. Is it the one where he's like, "Did you bring your elephant gun?" Oh man, it's not. I know it off the top of my head. Oh man, it's not even fair. That's the one with the explosive rounds. And he goes, "Yeah, and I had every round blessed, so every piece of you will go straight to hell." Like
that's a great line.
Yeah.
But the one I'm thinking.
Oh, I thought that was it.
Like, no, he's like, it better be fucking silver or fucking something like that because these motherfuckers aren't real or something. Where I was like,
yeah, no, we have that. We have that.
I was gonna say, I thought I might have pulled the fucking clip because I am obsessed with the way this line is delivered. The whole thing about it is fucking awesome.
There's the Fowler family, the picture on the wall.
These bastards died and nobody told them. And if you're packing exploding shells in that thing, pal, they better be fucking sacred or silver because these fuckers ain't real.
Yeah, dude, that fucking line, it's sacred or
it's
silver. It's
delivered like really, like he's panicking, like he's like fucked.
Dude,
he's like shit, man, we're
part
done.
of it too. The delivery, the fucking like, it feels like there's no fucking hope, and like it comes across. That's the thing about this movie. Like, it's not these huge actors that everyone knows and shit like that, but man,
it's all unknown people. Yeah,
they are amazing in this movie. Nobody feels like it's forced. Everybody feels like they're really in this desperate situation. Especially that guy. That guy throughout the movie,
he starts losing it.
He fucking crushes it for me, and like he does. He goes mad and shit, and I'm just like, dude, my hat's off because he makes that movie in a big way.
He gives like a Rhodes vibe, right, from Day of the Dead, like similar type thing where he's like kind of like unhinged a little bit. But he's like keeping everybody else in check. But he like gradually gets worse and worse, where he doesn't want to accept the fact that that dude who got his hand cut off before is dead. Like everybody else is like, dude, he's gone. Like that's it. Like forget it.
That's it.
But like he is like freaking out. He's like, just leave. Like I'll figure it out myself or whatever. So like he is completely gone. He's off the rails at the end, and it makes the character like pretty cool. Right? Because like he ends up meeting his friend again at the end.
Oh man.
And he's probably the best scarecrow zombie whatever you want to call him.
Is so good because there's a good buildup of like you see him with
hey
like
man,
his
let me in
goggles on. Yeah, and he's doing the voice thing and shit. One thing they do amazing in this movie is build the anticipation for what's going to happen. It's so hard to like capture in film.
Yeah.
And they crush it, man.
Rarely does somebody just get like fucking killed out of nowhere, like a fucking Friday the 13th movie where like now they're here, now they're not. Like there's a build up to it. You know what I mean? And there's other things that are going on that lead up to eventually they get killed in some gruesome way. But this is like a fucking awesome thing. There's two things that I like about this. I'm going to show the clip right now of the reveal of his buddy. I think his name is Jack. We're going to show what he looks like. And it's the clip that I posted on the Instagram and the picture also. It's fucking, this is awesome. This is awesome makeup. Walking up the stairs all creepy like.
Motherfucker, don't play games with me!
Dude, that guy, I can't get enough.
Yeah. He's another one. He's got a good delivery. Look at this guy.
It's me.
His face is like completely like shaved off at the mouth area. Almost like a
with
Cenobite.
the fucking night goggles on, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then when he goes to finally kill that motherfucker, he says, hey, how are we supposed to live in Mexico when we're dead? And like even that is like an awesome, like he says it like with an awesome delivery. Because earlier in the movie, he's like, how are we supposed to live in Mexico if we don't speak Spanish? And like at the end,
they had that money, and that was the plan to fucking
go to Mexico with it. Yeah. But at the end, he's like, yeah, how are we supposed to live in Mexico if we're dead?
One of my favorite kills, just because she's like one of my least favorite characters, is they have like this like female bandit that's with them, who's almost like the ringleader throughout the thing. She has
takes
that vibe
control
where, like,
sometimes.
Yeah, like she's really got.
She's not like a weak character or anything. She's just like one of the
very
dudes,
strong.
like equally
But
as
she just
fucking
kind of, I don't know, for some reason she was just kind of like
dumb
rubbed me the wrong
decisions.
way.
She made a
Yeah,
lot of
like, I
stupid
think that-
decisions.
I think that was kind of part of it.
She kind of
so when she gets
flip-flopped.
her fucking shit, dude.
Yeah, well, she also like kind of flip flops throughout the movie. Like she's kind of a dick, and then she's not. She's nice. Then she's kind of a dick. Then she's not, which is kind of interesting because you never quite completely hate these people, but you never quite completely like them either. But her demise sucks.
It's
Well, like, yeah, it's great, but like, I would never.
It sucks for her. It sucks.
Yeah, that's for sure. I would never want this to happen to me. Add it to the list
She's
of.
finding this money.
Yeah.
That she's like putting off the ground.
So she gets her fucking hand impaled by a pitchfork. So add it to the list of pitchfork-related deaths in movies.
And she's trying to get
And she rips it out. Brutal. Oh. These guys, these scarecrows are just torturing her, basically. Right? They eventually just stab and kill her. But what a fucking, like, cringe-inducing sequence when she, like,
it's
gets
the
that thing.
pulling the hand out.
Oh.
Ooh.
What is that? That was from Saw.
Feel it.
Didn't they do that in Saw or something? Right? The
Something
guy
like
had to,
that,
like,
yeah.
oh, man. That's a
It is
brutal fucking
cringe-inducing.
thing.
I think that's a good way
Ooh.
to put it because it's one of those things that you feel when you're watching it. It's like when they, it's like one of the hardest scenes for me. The movie is batshit, dude. It's stupid. When I tell you what movie I'm talking about, you're gonna laugh. But it's the House of Wax with fucking Paris Hilton.
Oh,
that they
yeah, yeah.
Right, bro. There's a scene in that movie that fucks me up every time I watch it. And it's that goddamn Achilles cut. When the dude pops up from under the floor with the fucking scissors and cuts that guy's heel, bro.
That
shit,
always. Pet Cemetery has one also. That's like always the worst fucking.
But for
Ugh.
some reason, the one specifically in that movie is done in such a way that it's like so brutal and like, I don't know. That one, it stuck with me, man. It's honestly for what it is. It's not a horrible movie. I have like kind of like a love for that like genre, that era.
Well, that was
of,
fun.
like,
That was like
remakes.
we were going and seeing those in the theaters while we were in high school and shit.
Right,
like,
Hills Have Eyes and all
yeah,
those
like
remakes and shit,
you
dude.
were
It's just
sneaking into the
brutal fucking
movies.
too.
Yeah, that was a good time to go see them in theaters because the genre had a resurgence again. People that were like in our age group, our demographic or whatever, they were going to see this shit. Older people were going to see this shit. So when you would go on a Friday, Saturday night, the movie theater was fucking packed. It was Netflix and all that stuff. So like you're going to the theater still to see all these movies. And it was probably like the last of like the really good like horror movie theater experiences.
man. For me, anyways, for sure.
I feel like that, you know, I would say the year 2000 to what, like 2010, around there. Like that was the end
yeah.
of like me going to the theaters and having fun.
You know,
a long time ago.
Speaking of this, you know, they something that really kind of fucked me up a little bit and made me feel a little old was that they are replaying House of a Thousand Corpses in theaters this October, which I'm obviously going to
20-year anniversary.
for the 20-year anniversary. And I remember opening night like it was fucking yesterday.
Dude,
going
I went
fucking
to
see that movie.
I went to see that with my mom.
That's awesome.
Imagine sitting there with your fucking
that's
mom watching that
fucking
movie.
Great.
How like
Dude,
uncomfortable that
the
is.
car ride home.
Let's see. So what was it? 2003. So I was, let's see, 17, 16. I was like 15 years old or whatever.
I was 16 years old. You had to be about 15, 16 also. So,
Yeah.
dude.
So that was like quite a thing.
God
But my parents were cool though. My parents always watched that shit. They were always into horror movies and stuff like that. And it was never a thing that was like taboo
That's a
in
weird
the house.
one, you know?
Yeah.
That's a strange one for sure to watch.
Well,
with the
dude,
parents, though.
like our parents, their age group were the people that were going to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Last House on the Left, all that
Oh, yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So like things like that are not exactly like shocking, at least where, you know, my family originates from. Like you're not in the middle of nowhere where that, you know, that stuff is never going to be shown in the
Bible Belt,
one
yeah.
like the one film one room theater in the middle of town, you know.
But man, thinking back that like it's been 20 years, like, and I can just legitimately feel like it was just yesterday.
I remember
you know,
going.
seeing
I remember
that
sitting
movie.
there. I could
Yeah,
picture myself
100%, dude.
sitting in that movie.
Absolutely, dude. So I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna fucking see it. I love the
man.
movie. It'll be a blast to see it again in theaters.
You know,
Man,
it's
20
funny
fucking years.
it's funny you said that, because before we started recording, everybody, me and Gross kind of bullshitting and everything. I'm like, dude, I'm starting to look like a fucking Rob Zombie character.
Yeah, that's
And
great,
like we
dude.
realized, so does he.
Yeah.
So we kind of like have that thing going on, like that Rob Zombie thing. So I don't know,
With a
man.
white trash aesthetic. I think it's not on purpose, but it is.
Is that
what
one
it
of those
is.
things where like you can't, like no matter what we do, it always comes through. Like you can't fake it.
Yes.
You like you
I was
remember like
born
that
this
time
way.
period? Yeah, remember that time period where like people with money would act like they didn't. Like they'd be like, no, I'm not fucking rich, bro. Like I'm like a
Money
regular.
couldn't fix this.
Yeah. It's like, no, we like ooze the white trash. You know what I mean? Like that's just in us. It's
love
okay.
it, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Look at us now. We're on YouTube doing
Look
live
at us
videos.
now.
Yeah, banned from Twitch. I tried to sign on to the Twitch before just to like see what's up on there, because I think our ban is over at this point. But
sure,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll see if I can like dual stream it, and we'll see if we can get it banned
How long
again
that
for good.
lasts? Yeah.
We'll see if we can get it killed forever. But like, I go to sign on, and I'm like, fuck, I don't remember the password to this motherfucker. Anybody who
my life,
has a
dude.
Twitch account knows that like the password that they require is like
Oh, it's
ridiculous.
dude.
And
What
I
the
can
fuck?
never remember it. And it's been so long, because I don't trust like saving my passwords and like fucking, like I used to do it, but I stopped
I just
updating
on the
it.
fucking login,
Yeah,
bro.
I stopped updating it. So like all my passwords are old, and I thought I was still signed in from the last time. I was like,
So, like,
fuck, man.
You go through like the 3 or 4 like go-to passwords you got. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, that's
yeah.
not it. All right, I'll try this one. That was not fucking
Yeah, none of these work. None of these work.
Locked out
Fuck.
shit all the time, dude.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to see though. Maybe we can burn. I mean, I don't think. I don't want to see. Like, I don't want to get a fucking like. Will people sue you nowadays for playing things? Like, can we just go on the Twitch thing and just play whatever the fuck we want? Just get fucking thrown off.
Burn
Like,
the account.
yeah, like we do like a Halloween fucking extravaganza. Just get it burnt to the ground. Fuck it, man. Well, I'm gonna look into that. Man. I'll see what we can do. But Scarecrows, we're coming to the end of the film. We get our final plane ride from hell here. This is actually a pretty cool ending to the movie, right? Like a pretty cool, I guess, wrap up, because I guess the people who deserve to die died, except for the pilot. But
He's the only innocent that dies for sure.
yeah. But this is a cool ending sequence, I guess you could say. This is her dad, right?
Come back off the cross.
Off
In
the
the
cross
plane.
in the plane, coming to get her. His eyes are also look like they're fucking gouged out. Well, the one does. Yeah. Dax the dog there. That's Ted Vernon's fucking dog. Stabbed right through the hand. Ooh, another fucking cringe thing. But eventually, our man Ted Vernon detonates a grenade, exploding the both of them. And she's able to fly to safety. But they add a little thing where the dog is eating the dead bodies on the floor.
Which is fucking great.
Yeah.
Especially because that's Ted's dog. He's like eating his master.
Yeah, and they add it in the
but
news
One thing that's ridiculous
report.
is that like he has this grenade, he bear hugs the dad in the middle of the fucking plane and explodes.
It
and there's
doesn't-
no damage to the plane
Yeah.
at all, dude.
Yeah, it must-
It's all contained into the bodies. I
Didn't
love
blow
that.
a hole in the plane, nothing. They
No,
just kind of
not
blew
for
up.
sure. I thought like what was gonna happen is he's gonna fucking grab a hold of the dad, pull the pin, and then jump out of the fucking plane
Yeah.
with the dad, and then blow each other up, kind of a thing. I didn't think he was gonna fucking do it in the middle of the plane. I
Yeah,
was like, this
yeah. He could have took the
ain't
whole.
even anybody, dude.
Yeah, he could have took everybody fucking with him. But with that, she flies to safety. But they also kind of cut back to the farm, to the it's not really a farm, to the field house or whatnot, and the Scarecrow is back on its perch, awaiting its next victim. With
Everything
our
is back in
ominous
place. The
music
truck
playing.
with no engine is back in place.
Yeah,
The generator on the farm stops working. It's all these like little things. I'm just like, dude, that's cool. It's a nice touch to like the supernatural element of what's
Yeah.
going on this land.
This movie is a 10 out of 10.
100%.
Bad Taste Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Dude, for a Scarecrow movie, it's the best.
Best Scarecrow movie of all time. Beats Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, because that's kind of like Dracula, Frankenstein, all that shit doesn't count when you're talking about movies. That's just they exist in their own world. And Dark Knight of the Scarecrow also exists in its own world, just like Salem's Lot exists in its own world. But this is the best Scarecrow movie of all time. Scarecrows from 1988. Get you fucking pumped up for that Halloween season that's upcoming. Nothing actually overtly Halloween in this. That's why we didn't do it in October. It's just Scarecrows, so we figure the fall is like a good fucking in between.
Feels right.
But for the final movie, before we get into the actual Halloween season, we're going to be revisiting something that we covered before Grizz was on this podcast, and that is the Wizard of Gore slash, I'm going to add that in there, Herschel Gordon Lewis. We're going to kind of do like an all-around Herschel Gordon Lewis show, but focus on the Wizard of Gore, because that I think, at least to me, that's like the best of all of them. That is the pinnacle of Herschel Gordon Lewis. Then you got Blood Feast, you got all that stuff, Color Me Blood Red, a bunch of movies we've covered them before, but we're going to kind of just talk about Herschel Gordon Lewis a little bit. Yeah, to get another thing that'll kind of get us revved up for the Halloween season, right?
So I think you can, we're going to not do a Wide World of Metal next week, but we're going to do the first half of the show, we're going to focus in on Wizard of Gore. And then maybe the second half will be just like an open discussion. We're going to pull some clips from some of our favorite movies and stuff like that. We want to hear from you guys.
Yep,
if there's clips that you guys want us to show before next week, definitely reach out to me.
Let us know.
In the DMs, man.
Let us know your favorite Herschel Gordon Lewis movie clip. What's your favorite kill scene? What's your favorite fucking thing of dialogue or whatever? Let us know. I own a ton of the movies. Yeah. I own a ton of the VHS tapes. I have all those fucking Comet releases and all that stuff, plus other shit. You have that fucking awesome, that whole like box set, right? It's a box set.
The giant fucking box
set, too. Yeah, that thing is fucking awesome. So let us know. We'll fucking play it. We'll put it up here. We'll talk about it, because probably we love it also. But next week, we'll mainly be discussing, for the first half of the show, we'll be discussing The Wizard of Gore. Second half will be Herschel Gordon Lewis greatest hits, and that will be live Tuesday night on our YouTube, youtube.com/@badtastevideopodcast at 9 p.m. Eastern time. This week we just had to run an audible. We still didn't want to deprive you people of the live thing.
We don't
but
leave anybody hanging. We get it in every week. So.
Yeah. So, Grizz, why don't we head over to the Wide World of Metal, and what do we have this week?
I will try to make this week a little bit quicker, because we did kind of we're
running long. We're running long.
We went deep in the movie. But we covered a band called Cloak, an amazing kind of like black rock and roll band. Very polished in the production of what this music is, but it really invokes that like true black metal spirit, in my opinion. It really feels authentic. Let's just start off real quick with the Invictus track. This is from their first release off of their new album. This kind of gives you an idea of like what we're getting into.
They look cool. What'd you say? Gibson users, right?
I love that they're all playing fucking Gibson guitars. Like to see a Les Paul with fucking ripping black metal, it just warms my heart.
Yeah, man. I got my Les Paul. It's fucking awesome.
He looks like fucking Lenny Killmeister on bass. Yeah, that's always fucking cool.
This band really reminded me of like the Midnight. When you showed me them, like that's who this band reminds me of.
This is like a more like I think refined version. Like Midnight's very.
This is
gritty,
more black.
very, like,
I feel like this is more black metal than the Midnight.
True. That's like black. Like that. They're very much more like rock and roll. I think eccentric Midnight is, where this has elements of rock and roll in it,
but it's more black metal.
It's black metal at the heart of it. This new album is called Black Flame Eternal. All the songs on here are just going to be like your classic sounding fucking black metal songs, Shadowlands and Seven Thunders, Eyes of the Abyss. But they're all have this, like, for one thing, the fucking riff writing is
great. It all flows great. It's catchy. It's actually, if you're not into like fucking most like extreme metal, you could probably listen to this album. It's a good like fucking intro into it.
that's a great like takeaway from it, because this is very palatable, I think, for most anybody that would consider themselves like a metal fan of any kind of genre of it. They would find something in this to like really get into. But there's like elements that are very black metal to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, at the heart of it, that's what it is. But it's I don't want to say like a softer version, but it's just more of like a palatable version that I think other people would listen to that normally wouldn't listen to black metal.
Well, like it has like, to me, it has like a Mayhem influence. You know what I mean? So it's not like overly fucking extreme. You know, there's tremolo picking and all that stuff, but like it's not too fucking crazy where, you know, it's not like a fucking brutal death fucking thing where it's just straight blasts for a minute and a half or whatever.
It's not like Gorgoroth either or something like that, where it's just like, you know, straight black metal the whole time and with, you know, that kind of thing. Let's play Holy Dark. This is my favorite track.
Mine too, man. I like this one also.
Was good, man.
See, like it has a very. This is an awesome riff.
There's an organ fucking. There's tons of like great organ fucking additions on the song.
We also look really weird in front of a black and white video. I like the halftime stuff that they do in fucking a lot more like modern black metal. They do the halftime.
Parts like this remind me of Immortal a lot. Yeah. They do a lot of that like halftime shit too. That's just kind of like it's all like very like based around a really catchy riff where it's like, you know, and the vocals fit that same like cadence as the riff. It just makes for a very like, you know, a catchy song altogether. I think that's what helps it be listenable by more than just like black metal fans. Yeah, and like the drummer is extremely solid. It's not like overly technical, but you can tell he's like a good drummer. He does what the song needs. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of those things. Very solid band. I really like this. I'm really glad you showed this to me. This is actually probably one of my favorite albums that you've showed me like in the last year. Like honestly, I really like this one. Yeah. It does feel like something that like, you know, we obviously listen to like a lot of death metal and stuff like that, but when we first started like hanging out and shit, this was a lot of what me and you used to share with one another was stuff like this. So it does feel like something that you would really
good driving music. It's good driving music.
Yeah. Right. Put this on in the gym and it fucking crushes. Those riffs just get you fucking like in the zone.
Yeah, exactly. So Grizz, where could they find this?
You can find us on, you know, YouTube is for the music videos. You can find the band on Bandcamp. You can find all the music on Spotify, iTunes, and stuff like that. I don't think it's called iTunes anymore. I'm fucking an old man.
Apple Music.
Yeah, there it is. But all those different places that you can get your fucking music from, you'll be able to find them. Cloak, Black Flame Eternal. Definitely check it out, man.
Yeah. So that just about wraps it up for this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody in the chat for coming. We appreciate you. We appreciate you facilitating our slight deviation of, schedule, whatever. But everybody who's listening at home, you could come listen and see us play these clips and everything. You can actually see what we're talking about live on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Bad Taste Video Podcast. It's linked on our website, www.badtastevideo.com, where we also have our Patreon that has a very interesting post from last week that a lot of people were asking where they could see a certain movie. I'm not going to say which one, but you could see it on our Patreon, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't even know if there's anybody that could sue us for that one at this point or give us like a copyright thing.
And find out, baby. Roll the dice.
Yeah. So Grizz, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Kane_enabler.
And you can find me on Bad Taste Video, and like I said, visit. I was going to say, and you can find everything we do, but I already said our website at www.badtastevideo.com. Grizz, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I am super excited. We're going to wrap up September in a great way with the Hershey episode. And I think that people are going to be fucking real stoked on the mayhem that we're going to bring to the table in October.
Yeah,
so
we're
hang on there with us.
Viano helps. That Patreon upload was a huge hookup. Yeah, buddy. So thank you, everybody, for coming yet again. Next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel. We will be covering a bunch of Herschel Gordon Lewis stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our page, try to share it around so we can get more people into this dumbass shit. So maybe the tape prices can price everyone out.
Yeah, let's make it impossible to buy anything.
But yeah, we're ramping up for Halloween. It's gonna be fucking crazy. I cannot wait. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.